Hi, this is John Malvey from My Bookkeeper software. And in this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to handle sales in Bookkeeper that is a more expedited version of doing standard invoice processing. So this is beneficial if you're doing something more in a retail or point of sale environment where you need to kind of register the sale and then move on to the next one. So it's all going to start with the invoices. And in here, you can notice that you don't have to create a customer. So you don't have, if you want to, you can, but it's not necessary. And one of the options that we want to be able to do is you typically, when you create an invoice in Bookkeeper, the invoice will get sent to your invoice print queue that you'll print at a later point and send to your customer. So in a retail environment, typically you don't want to do that. So if you click under More, there's a printing tab here, and you can determine when the invoices get printed. So there are options here to print later, never, and now. Later is the default, which means that when you create an invoice, it'll get sent to your print queue and you can print it later. Printing now is when you save the invoice, it'll immediately go to your print queue. And printing never means it just doesn't go to your print queue at all. So when you're handling a lot of customers in a retail environment, you really don't want to have your invoice queue build up. So just set it to never, and this setting will be remembered for each invoice going forward as you create it. All right, from that point, then you just add what you want to your invoice, typically. And then instead of clicking save, what you want to do is click on the payment button. And what that's going to do, it's going to save the invoice, and it's immediately going to bring you to the receive payment screen. Okay, so it's going to save the invoice. It's going to pull up the receive payment screen. It's going to pre-fill all my information because it knows the customer. It knows about the invoice. It's going to set the amounts. And really, that's all you need to do. And you click save. And now my transaction's been saved. And I'm good to go on to the next one. Okay, so let me go through that again in a little more detail. All right, so as I'm clicking on that and I click my payment button, and if you want, you can add the sales tax too, and to include that if you need to. And when I click on payment, again, I'm brought back here. Now you notice that the customer is set to this kind of a format, which is really just the invoice number and the date. So behind the scenes, Bookkeeper is actually creating a customer, and sometimes you'll see as nameless customers or customers without names. So if you ever wanted to convert a customer in a retail environment that you see, and you want to convert it to a regular customer, you can do that as well. Now, if you were doing credit card processing through Bookkeeper, you can select the payment method. If you're doing credit cards, and you can do that, but it's not necessary. If you want to print the sales receipt, you can just click here, and you can print it to paper or send it to PDF. If you want to print two copies, one for yourself and one for the customer, you can do that here. The sales receipt will have spots for the customer to put in credit card information if you need to do it manually. All right. But again, these are all the options here to be able to create that. You save that, and then it's going to go ahead and create the sales receipt. Okay, and then I was mentioning about how the customers appear, these nameless customers, right? So when you go into your customer list, you'll see an option. Let me see my customers with no names, and you'll do that, and you'll see these are all invoices that were created without a customer. And if I wanted to convert it, I could just drill into that customer, and I can change the customer name and do whatever I wanted to do, and then it can become a permanent customer. So that's a quick and easy way to be able to process sales within Bookkeeper. It's a different option than if you wanted to, create the invoices. So thanks for watching, and thanks for being a Bookkeeper customer.